What's up, guys? Jedi number 1 here, and I'm chewing on this gum. But that's not here. I'm not here to record me chewing on gum. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel. The Super Bowl. Eagles won the Super Bowl. I like this feature. Like, you can literally just do this feature. I really love this feature. Just love this feature. But yes, perfect. Eagles won the Super Bowl. The parade has been announced on a Friday. And yesterday, dozens were arrested in Philadelphia after Eagles won the Super Bowl, police say. When is the Eagles... Alright, okay, so the Eagles Super Bowl parade, just to confirmed, is on February 14th of this year, which is a Friday. So I will be able to say, okay, well, perfect, because nobody has to go to school. Hopefully no one has to go to school. But, yeah. But back to the Eagles game. So yeah, back to the Eagles game. And of course, alright, so we gotta talk about this yesterday. And yes, you guys this is the official recap of the 2024 season between the Eagles and the Steelers. Yesterday, let's talk about the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Okay. 21 completion out of 32 attempts. Okay, that's normal. QB stats, well, for the most part. Travis Kelce, 4 receptions, 39 yards, no touchdown. Xavier Worthy and DeAndre Hopkins and Smith-Schuster, Hollywood Brown, which are good targets, especially Xavier Worthy. He tried. Kareem Hunt tried. So basically, these are good targets. They just tried. The offensive line did not do anything. 6 sacks allowed, meaning the Eagles rushed 4 men. Can you believe that? 4 the same guys on the defensive front rushed 4 all game. They rushed 4 men rush all game. Literally all game. Passing wasn't really like that with the Eagles, but their defense was literally the case. But 2 sacks allowed by the Eagles. Hurst threw that 1 interception. Eagles dominated the clock. Then the Chiefs, most likely. I mean, the Chiefs, they could have, if the Eagles did not kick a field goal to extend it to 40 points, then this would have been like a common defeat game. 37-22. But 40-22. Which is a severe, significant blowout in the Super Bowl with an Eagles win. But, But for the most part, the Chiefs will see the Eagles next season. Because the Eagles will play the AFC West next season. But I'll get into more of the schedule stuff later. But we gotta look at the schedule though. So let's look at all these Eagles games. They blew out the Commanders. They almost lost to the Rams. If Matthew Stafford had a good offensive line, Eagles would have been toast. Like at the last minute, toast. The Packers was just a win. They beat the Giants as usual, and more Philadelphia news about the parade and stuff. They beat Dallas, which I like. They swept Dallas for the first time in my lifetime. They lost to the Commanders. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Ravens. This was not a good game. Well, it was, but this was like a test game most likely. The Panthers also gave them a struggle too. Eagles, Rams. They beat they kind of like demolished the Rams in their home turf. They beat the Commanders again at home. Well, the first meeting, they beat Dallas. Well, as a matter of fact, I already spoke of these two teams already. They beat the Jaguars. The Jaguars literally again almost beat the Eagles. It could be another loss. They beat the Bengals. And then the Browns. After this Buccaneers loss, they just went haywire and just won a good percentage of their games. Haven't lost since this Commanders loss in the process. And they have this live game on here as well, which I might actually look into next time, or probably in my lifetime or so. In terms of the preseason, they had a good preseason. They beat the Ravens, and they beat the Patriots. They lost to the Vikings. Packers, they beat the Packers for the first meeting in Brazil, which was a little rumored of why they should have not been playing in Brazil. These are two teams for green, and I think the NFL was looking for two teams both green colors, but they can't wear green. I understand that, but it wasn't really the case. The Packers still wore their original their regular uniforms, and the Eagles just wore black and white most likely too. They were afraid and everything, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But then they lost the Falcons, and then they beat the Saints, and this will be the Eagles' second time winning in New Orleans of this NFL season. And then came the Buccaneers. Let's go with the Buccaneers. What happened here in the Buccaneers? Let me look at this Buccaneers. Oh wait, that's right. 6 sacks allowed by the Eagles. 2 sacks allowed by the Buccaneers. No turnovers. And wait, this is familiar. This is familiar, correct? Isn't it? 6 sacks allowed. 2 fumbles lost. But as you look here to this game. Look here to this game. Watch this. 36 minutes, 23 minutes for the Chiefs. 6 sacks allowed, 1 fumble lost, 2 interceptions. This is familiar, right? This looks familiar though, right? But if this doesn't look familiar, we can go back at this again and look at the time. The team stats. 23 minutes, 36 minutes for the Buccaneers and Eagles. The Buccaneers had 36 minutes and the Eagles had 23 minutes. So basically the Eagles, this reminded me of this game most likely. And during that Super Bowl game yesterday, I wondered that the Buccaneers did not get knocked out of the playoffs. Well, the Eagles, if the Buccaneers did not lose the playoffs, will they have beaten the Eagles, or the Eagles would have just been, because this is their oops, did not mean to click on the Buccaneers. I mean, the Buccaneers, they've lost to the Commanders. But if the Buccaneers did not lose, like if they did not lose the playoffs or any sort of way, I gotta go back to that game. Oh my goodness. Can I please go back to that game? But yeah, this game, the Buccaneers went 3-1. For some reason, the Buccaneers like to go 2-0, so I'm not really sure what's that about. Like every single year, they went 2-0 since Tom Brady. Yeah, I'm gonna say since the 2021 era with Tom Brady, they just been going 2-0, straight up 2-0, 2-0 to start the season. I think this was the 2024 year of this season was their third time doing this. No, the fourth time doing it. Yeah, the fourth time doing it in the process, going 2-0, and then like losing week 3. I don't know. That's been like a thing lately for the Buccaneers, I should say. Again, if you just look at the stats here, Hurts, and this was a hot game, but 18 completions for Jalen Hurts and 30 out of 30 attempts. This was not a good game. Barkley ran, but it wasn't enough. Again, the Buccaneers had to have this team manhandled, and if you just look at this game, and again, if the Buccaneers survived the playoffs, this team would have beaten the Eagles. Well, let's look at the Buccaneers' record. Buccaneers' record is a 10-7 record. Eagles is 14-3. But the Falcons, my friend is upset that he did not make the playoffs. He did not see his Falcons in the playoffs. But no. Back to this. Eagles also have the Buccaneers next season. Let's actually go to the Eagles and see what they have for their 2025 opponents for the Eagles. And I'll also show you the schedule for the Steelers. Again, I will actually get with this another time, but since we're talking about future opponents for next year, I might as well just talk about that now. So yeah, they have the Buccaneers. Again, they have the Buccaneers. And you want to know what this is? This is going to be at Tampa Bay. Again. At Tampa Bay again. They just love playing in Tampa Bay. They just love playing in Tampa Bay. They got the Chiefs again next season. They got the Bills, but it's in Orchard Park. So next season, you're looking at the Packers, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Detroit Lions, the Buccaneers, and the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams. I said Lambs. Rams. So you got the Buccaneers, the Rams, and the Commanders, the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Packers, and the Bills. And the Broncos, most likely. So basically, you got at least 8 to 9 playoff teams in the process. 8 to 9 playoff teams in the process. That are going to be playing against the Eagles next season. The Detroit Lions will come to Philadelphia along with the Chicago Bears. The Packers, the Eagles will go to Packers Stadium, Lambeau Field. But again, they'll be in Orchard Park, New York. Well, Buffalo, New York, which is in Orchard Park. And the Raiders will come to Philadelphia. I am going to expect that this is going to be the first game This will be first game. The Eagles will either have the Dallas Cowboys as first game, or the Detroit Lions, or the not Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Los Angeles Rams, or they might have the Commanders. I'm going to say that they're probably going to have the Rams for the first game. Rams will have first game versus the Eagles, no doubt. So let's see how the Eagles do it next year. Now, Pittsburgh Steelers. And also, you guys are probably wondering. Let me go spit this gum out. Alright, there we go. Water time. Okay. Alright, so, and as you guys are wondering, we'll get with the Eagles and Steelers when they fought in a second. Let me just go on the detour with the Steelers. So, the Steelers, like I did before, I started the this little season off by the Steelers preseason recaps and stuff like that, along with the Eagles. Excuse me. They had a bad preseason. This is the first time I've seen them have a bad preseason in a little bit. Well, it wasn't bad. Well, this was tougher than I expected. They had like a little tough time with the Lions, the Texans, pretty much as well. But they really had a hard time versus the Lions. I saw this to the max. Dave, Mike Tomlin just chose not to kick field goals against the Buffalo Bills, and literally the Buffalo Bills gave the Steelers multiple chances. I think I ranted on this of how stupid this game was in the process. All they had to do was kick field goals. Just kick a field goal. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. But yeah, they had a really hard time versus the Lions. They go into the season, though, kick field goals versus the Falcons. And the Broncos, they held the Broncos to at least 6 points, up by a touchdown. Chargers and Steelers, I saw this game to the max. Justin Fields looked incredible. This was the first matchup of 2-0 teams. Steelers went 3-0. Beat the Chargers. Chargers do not like the Steelers at all. Colts and Steelers. Colts beat the Steelers for the first time. Well, for the second time. We'll come back to them, though. The Cowboys and Steelers. This game went up to overtime. Well, at midnight, almost towards overtime. Could have went to overtime, but they couldn't do it. 32-13. Steelers and Raiders. The classic. A double classic game. But the Steelers will take it. 32-13. Took the wheels fall on the cart of the Raiders. Well, they fell off the cart for the Raiders. And then they took down an salty Aaron Rodgers team that had nothing to prove. 37 points to 15. First time this is the second time they blow out a team. Then the Giants and the Steelers. This was considered the fun team. Like the actual fun team to play. This was considered the fun game. And I remember me going to IHOP, and a Giants fan at IHOP gave me prompts. So, yeah. Then they took down my father's team, the Commanders, 28-27. And then Eagles, Ravens. They kicked field goals again versus the Ravens, just like they did up in the first game versus the Falcons to start the season. Lamar Jackson was pissed at that point. Then this game came. Now about this game, we'll come back to this game we'll get with this in just a second. Now the Steelers started off with 3 wins and stuff like that, and they took 2 losses, teaching moments for like Justin Fields. So after this this Raiders game, they took Justin Fields, I believe, got hurt at one point. They put in Russell Wilson, 37-15. And they won. Well, that was because Aaron Rodgers sucked. And the Giants. Daniel Jones. I mean, the Giants, that will be dealt with. I'll deal with that. Don't worry about that. The Giants, Daniel Jones actually at least tried. But this was actually automatically the fun game. This would be considered the fun game. I don't know why this game seemed pretty fun. I don't know why. First game on a Monday night. And yeah. Then the Commanders. Again, like at this point, Wilson looked like he can be the starter. He went 4 straight. He went like 4 straight wins. 4 straight wins. And then, like literally right after the Commanders and Steelers, it was like, okay, they didn't even have to go try for a field goal. But in addition, as soon as this Ravens game came, Russell Wilson, he just looked like he couldn't do it. But the Steelers won this game, though, and then this game. Let's check this game out. So, and also, this is a full game recap, which means you can see the whole game, but we're not going to look at that. Let's look at the team stats. 4 sacks allowed by the Steelers, 1 sack allowed by the Browns. Myles Garrett was feeling it. But the Steelers had the fumbles and the turnovers. They led the turnovers. They got 3 turnovers, but they still lost the game. And this was literally a trap game. And this is when everything started to set in. So as we look at this in the process, and so after this, and they went to Cincinnati, they've put up 44 points for the first time since 2018. But they still held it short, which was the problem. After that, after these 2 games, after these 2 games, and they just, I don't know. And then the Browns, they took down the Browns. They got their rematch versus the Browns in Pittsburgh. That's like a usual thing. But yeah, 27-14, and then this game for both teams. We look at this in the process, and what does this remind you of when you look at this score? What does this say to you? If you're a Steelers fan and watching this, please put down in the comment section of what does this game mean to you when you look at this score and when you watch the game in the process. And to remind you, let's look at the news analysts for this game. I did this before on this game recap, but and it says here, fans storm Pittsburgh streets after ex-Steelers QB wins Super Bowl. I mean, he didn't even do anything. I mean, yeah, he helped. Kenny Pickett didn't even do anything, really. He helped out versus the Commanders. He lost it to the Commanders. He'd helped win against Dallas. So it was just like, there was just nothing. He didn't really win anything. He didn't win nothing. And yeah, I don't understand. He didn't even do anything. But this game right here is the reason, and this was actually so basically the point of this game was, the point of this game was to like test to see which team was going to survive this the remaining of the NFL season. And these two teams did survive. The Steelers went to the playoffs, so did the Eagles. But the Steelers were a one and done team again, and and the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. So this tells you that if your state rival, meaning like your state rival, and I'm from Philadelphia, by the way, but your state rival just told just just explain something to you that you need to get good. And the Steelers, as you just look at the stats during this game, the Steelers seem to have had everything in their favor. 2 fumbles lost, 3 sacks. That's good for defense. But in addition, 1 fumble loss, and that fumble killed this whole entire game. We can watch this game over and over and over to see what went wrong. But for now, I think we understood what happened here. The Eagles were currently capable of winning a Super Bowl than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Steelers fans that are watching this, Russell Wilson, what's the problem? They should have kept Justin Fields in, and this would have been a much better matchup. They would have actually scored 19 points to 27. This actually would have been a one-score game. Like a one-score game if Justin Fields played. One-score game, 19 to 27. But instead, it's 13 to 27, and once again, the Steelers have yet to put up no more than 13 points. Okay? 13 points. 13 points for the second time in 2 years. Now, first things first. The overview. Now again, like they had it was a good tough fight. And this was actually the most watched game. This was the most watched game, and let me just actually just go here. So, what ends up happening after that is the Eagles, they'll lose to the Commanders the following game, and then they'll take their win percentage back by sweeping the Cowboys and then sweeping the Giants. And then they just carried on from there to the Super Bowl, which was yesterday. So most likely the Eagles, it looked like the Eagles were not going to do a single thing, because if they lost to the Cowboys, they would have had to win against the Giants. So literally, and they answered the question. The Cowboys just sucked. So, but the Giants, if they do loss here, they would have had to get the win versus the Giants in the process. And then the Commanders would have actually had the privilege to actually take control of the NFC East in the process if the Eagles lost all 3 of these games. Then this would have been like a little. Then the Eagles would have been considered the choker, but the Steelers were the main consistent chokes, as you saw here. Like I was saying just some time ago, the Eagles and Steelers. This matchup was basically the test to see who was going to survive the remaining of the NFL season, and including their divisions. Apparently, the Steelers in their case, did not survive either of these whole entire games that they played. So let's get this straight here, and we're going to start from this Baltimore Ravens game because this is where everything took place in the process for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers, after defeating the Giants and the Commanders of the NFC East, and they've turned to. Then this is when everything. Yeah, they turned to their division rivals, and this is where everything took place from here. Beat the Ravens, they lost to the Browns, which was understandable. The Bengals, they beat them, and the Browns again. They played the Browns again, they beat them, so they went 3-1 versus the division. And then your state rival is also a part of this as well. So, but then after your state rival, you get destroyed by your division rival, and then you get crushed by a Super Bowl contender, and the Steelers literally have no answers. They kept rushing blitz packages, but not getting home. And every single time they did get home, Mahomes will do his little magic thing and escape because the Steelers defense just doesn't know how to do anything perfect. But as you can see right here, they lost all 5 straight games, and it was true that the Steelers and one also the Steelers, they could have actually came back versus the Ravens if Russell Wilson did not take any sacks. This literally would have been a comeback in the process for the Steelers. 14 points in the second half to the Ravens, just 1 touchdown in the second half. If the Steelers scored 21 points, then this literally would have been then Lamar Jackson would have been a choker, and the Steelers would have been given the final minutes to score a touchdown in the late seconds of the fourth quarter or so if they got to that point. But instead, Russell Wilson took sacks, not like being a caliber quarterback, and he's a Super Bowl champion quarterback, so it's like there was something going on. And I think that's why this whole Steelers collapse in the process. Now, one, you're probably going to say the Eagles does not count because this is just a state rival. I mean, and stuff like that. But like, if the Eagles and Steelers actually had to play to get into the playoffs, which was like not really the case. I mean, this was actually considered to be the case in the process. I mean, even though the Steelers lost to the Eagles, they still clutched the playoffs after they lost to the Eagles. And that was actually shock. But then the Ravens beat the Steelers, and then that's when the downhill started. Then the Chiefs beat them, then everything just went downhill in the process. Now, they've actually, obviously, the Ravens were not giving the division back. The Steelers had a chance to beat the Bengals. This could have been their only win percentage, so at least put confidence into our hands, Pittsburgh fans. But instead, they did not do that either. Instead, they lost to the Ravens, 28-14. But yeah, and again, we have to see what they're going to do with preseason. So everything has to start from preseason, like it did, in the 2024 era. Well, before it ended. But yeah, it has to start from preseason again. Everything has to start over from preseason again, and if they don't get anything in preseason, then we're gonna have a rough time, another rough year of the same nonsense again. And to remind you, the Steelers went 10-7 to end their regular season in the process. And to remind you, I'm going to just show you the Steelers' defensive stats over the years. I'm going to show you that in the process. And I will show you the Eagles as well. And no, the sacks and the fumbles do not count. This is the regular season stats. But this to let you know in the process. And the 2024 season is completely done. Can I erase this? Okay, here we go. 24 season done. Now it's time for Steelers. Steelers 2025. And I'll get with that when the season comes back around. But they finished the 2024 season with 40 sacks. Good, but you want to get back into this glory days because this is when the Steelers were like forcing good pressure. And as you just look here in the process, let's start from 2017 to 2021. And to remind you, I did not start getting into the Steelers until 2018 in the process. This is when I matter for yeah, I'll explain. So yeah, I didn't start getting into the Steelers until 2018. They had 52 sacks and 15 fumbles at the time. Now you guys are probably wondering where's the interception numbers. I decided to do sacks and fumbles because I kind of this attacking range guy, you know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, the Steelers had 18 in 2018, 52 sacks, 15 fumbles. Good. In 2019, they were actually cool. Like I thought like before Ben Roethlisberger retired, these 4 years, I actually thought the Steelers were really cool. And the Steelers were actually cool in 2018. I just thought they were a cool team. That's why I liked them, and I started to like them ever since. But ever since 2022, 40 sacks, 16 fumbles. Ever since 2022, they're in a little loop where they can't break this right now in the process. They can't break this right now in the process. They haven't even broke any. They haven't gotten a 57 sack record in the process. And to prove that, if you just look up here in the process through the years, dating back from 1990. They've kind of been in the league more since 1993. That was when the Steelers first appeared. Well, they appeared as the Pirates, but now they're the Steelers. But I'll have a little recap history on the Steelers another time. But right now, I should just look back through the years since 1990. Well, since I pictured this from 1990. And note, if you hear some noises in the background, some companions of mine are downstairs watching TV. So I apologize if you hear disturbance in the background as I'm speaking in the process. That's kind of it. Again, yeah, like ever since 2017, Steelers have not really they haven't cracked. Like, I'm surprised due to them getting 50 sacks, they have not cracked the code of getting more than 50 something sacks. Their highest sack percentage is 56. The last time they did that was 2020. And then the year after, 55 sacks, and then their sack ratio is going down. 40 sacks in the process. They managed to make an effort of 40 sacks, almost getting to at least 50 sacks, but that wasn't enough in the process. Fumbles 21. Last time they had more fumbles was in 2019. 22 fumbles. Was more fumbles that they had in the process. Actually, no, the last time they had more fumbles was the 06 era. The 06. And other than that, yeah, they just haven't really been able to function in doing anything in the process. But the last time they had a higher fumble ratio was 06, which was 2006. Well, 2006. How would you say it? I'm just going to say 06 for now. But yeah, it's you know what I mean. Sacks 40 for the second time since 2022. And again, if they don't crack anything, then it's... Now, I'm going to look at the Eagles. Let's look at the Eagles. Let's see how they did. Alright, so, Eagles, as you see, through the years since 1990. Again, they both teams have actually appeared in 1933. But if you just look through the years, the Eagles actually have a good sack ratio as well. But if you just look here in the process in recent time, the Eagles have surpassed the Steelers 42 sacks and with 25 fumbles. Steelers, however, again, 19 fumbles in the process. So the Eagles' defense was much better this year, but the Steelers proved to the Steelers about their defense. But they didn't really, do. I mean, the Steelers' defense was good. It was just wasn't on the Eagles' level. They were able to get pressure. They just couldn't bring certain stuff home. And again, they need to get back into their formation of 2021 to 2020. This defense should not be like this, putting out 40 to 47 sacks. If you're going to do that, at least get a good pressure ratio in the process. And again, like the Eagles, they have 43 sacks. So ever since 2022, their sack ratio has went down as well in the process. And I mean, they're still doing good in the fumbles. Last year, the Steelers had 21 fumbles, but their defense were at least good than the Eagles in pressuring wise. But the Eagles, they under Vic Fangio, or if I'm saying his name right, for Eagles fans. But yeah, 42 sacks for the Eagles of this year. And $2025, I'll put that note down here, and I'll get that settled another time. Now, Eagles had 62 sacks in 1989. The Steelers, however, have not cracked that code. The Steelers have not cracked a 69 or something 60, like a number of 60 related sacks. They have not done that. They have not even done this right here in the process. They have not cracked a 70 sack code. Straight up. They have not cracked a 70 sack code. I'm just being really honest. Steelers have only mustered to get their highest sack percentage. What am I doing? Yeah, they have not cracked their percentage. The only thing they did was get 56 sacks. So if this team does not strike back, then this team is not is this team is it's not good. It's not gonna be good. If they can't get back into the 2021 formation of their defense, it's not going to be good. Offense is doing good. Well, for the most part. But their defense, if their defense can't do anything, if they can't get back into this formation, the 2020 formation again, or anything, and remind you, the last time they had their lowest sacks was 2016. So at least they're doing good in terms of this right now in the process. But ever since 2022, they've just been in this flow formation, and it's getting out of control. I'm not used to them being in this flow in the process for defense. That's not what I mean. Now 2023 and 2022 were more of good defensive stuff because they were at least able to at least make stops in 2022 and 2023. So I'll give them this in the process. But this year was not really good at all whatsoever. Now, I don't know. They wasn't forcing much in the process. They did good in the preseason. They had at least I think 11 sacks. I'll have to make that another time when I get back to this in the process. But this goes to show that the Eagles, most likely, and just by beating the Steelers, the Eagles have officially won the Super Bowl and prove everyone that, hey, they're going to the Super Bowl. And Pittsburgh News. But yeah, like just by the Eagles beating the Steelers, Eagles have proved everyone after beating the Steelers that it's Super Bowl. It was Super Bowl from the start when they beat the Steelers. Like it was actually the only team they had to beat and prove their worthy to. And this was a test again by two Pennsylvania teams of the state of Pennsylvania. Okay? One of these two teams had to prove to see who was going to be victorious going to the Super Bowl. Which team was going to survive their division? Which team was going to survive in the playoffs? Especially the Eagles. They did it. Steelers did not. They couldn't even last a single moment in the playoffs against the Ravens. Well, against the Ravens, it was just a division rival game, and this was anyone's game. So of course the Ravens were going to win because the Steelers just don't know how to win games in playoffs. And we'll get to discussions another time in the process. We'll get to everything about the Steelers' history and everything in the process. I will get with that in the process. We'll get with that in the process. I will get with that. Just don't worry. I'll get with that. So, but yeah, yeah. The Steelers. Now, yeah, well, again, at some point, you look here in the process, since the Super Bowl is done, on the 20th, or yeah, I think that, yeah, the 20th or so, since it's on a Thursday, it will be a good time to do, like, I'll have a video out on the 20th. So I will, yeah. I'll have a video out on the 20th. So yeah, I will yeah. I'm not going to say about the video. I'm just going to, get a video out on the 20th. So I'll leave you a guess of what that video is going to be. But yeah, you guys can put down in the comment section. I'm going to stop this video right here in the process. Just cut this out right here. And yeah. I will do more Eagles and Steelers stuff another time. And I will go down to the history of the Steelers and the Eagles do their time in the process. So, yeah. As your host, Jedi number 1 is out. Go Eagles, and I will be at their Super Bowl. I will be at their Super Bowl. No doubt. If not their Super Bowl, then I'll probably go to IHOP or something to, I don't know, just safer my time or something. I don't know. But yeah, I will be at their Super Bowl. As your host, I was about to say Eagles. The Jedi is out. Peace out.